Unlocking your potential isn't about more time, resources, or practice. It's about shattering the self-limiting beliefs that hold you back. The truth is, you can achieve almost anything in just 7 days, even starting from scratch. No money, no plan, no support, no hope. Sounds crazy? That's precisely why you need to keep reading. The impossible only exists for those who refuse to truly know themselves. Why, despite incredible effort and good intentions, do most people fail to realize their dreams? They talk a big game: financial freedom, weight loss, that novel, starting a business, finding love. But it all stays in the realm of wishful thinking. Why? Because they haven't truly decided. Wishing isn't deciding. Deciding is eliminating all other options. It's an emotional commitment to a result, even without a clear roadmap. The decision comes before the plan, not the other way around. The mistake most people make is waiting for certainty, help, time, or money before they commit. A fatal flaw. Back in the early 90s, on a grueling 25-hour flight to Kuala Lumpur, alone, as usual, I wasn't watching movies. I was thinking, reflecting, scribbling, my high-altitude think tank. Amidst the seeming boredom, while doodling numbers in my notebook, I asked myself, what truly makes someone a millionaire? And more importantly, why does it seem so unattainable to so many? That's when it hit me. A game-changing idea that transformed my life and the lives of thousands. Those who achieve big goals decide. They create multiple income streams. They don't wait for clarity. They decide, and the path unfolds. That epiphany led me to call Mark Victor Hansen, then Jack Canfield. The $1 Million Forum was born, followed by the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, a publishing phenomenon that generated hundreds of millions of dollars. None of it would exist if I hadn't made a firm decision without guarantees. It's astonishing how many people wait for the perfect moment, but when was the last time you made an unshakable decision about something in your life? Not a fleeting wish, but a deep-seated conviction screaming, "I'm not turning back." This is happening because I decided. Felt that people say they fear failure, but what they truly fear is the power of decision. Because deciding eliminates excuses. You can no longer blame the economy, your boss, your family, your partner, the government. Responsibility becomes a mirror, and that's terrifying, and that's precisely where the power lies. When you decide, your subconscious mind goes to work, seeking paths, people, and opportunities. The external world reorganizes to reflect your internal command. So why, with all this knowledge, do so many remain stuck in indecision? Because they've been conditioned to avoid risk. They've learned that mistakes are failures, change is dangerous, and ambition is greed. You've probably heard, "Don't dream too big, or you'll be disappointed." A mental virus, an invisible prison sabotaging genuine transformation. A University of Scranton study revealed that 92% of people failed to keep their New Year's resolutions, abandoning their goals within weeks. It's not laziness, incompetence, or bad luck. It's because those goals weren't decided upon, just casually wished for. I challenge you. If you had only 7 days to achieve one significant goal, what would it be? Think, feel, write, visualize. Choose one, not a list. For 7 days, focus all your energy on it. Wake up thinking about it, sleep visualizing it, discuss it only with supportive people. Write it down and read it aloud 6 times a day. What if I fail, you ask? I ask, what if you succeed? Have you even allowed yourself to consider that possibility? Stop trying. Trying is the excuse of a fearful mind. Decide. Decision unlocks everything you desire. For me, deciding meant leaving behind aimlessness, dead-end jobs, and debt to build wealth, freedom, and a legacy. It started with a pen, a notebook, and the unwavering thought that something better was out there, and it's out there for you too. You are a manifestation of something infinitely powerful. Your mind isn't just a tool. It's the channel through which miracles flow, but it only moves after you decide. Look at your life. What area is stagnant because you're waiting for external change? Disrupt the order. Change internally. Choose, declare, act. When you truly decide, the universe aligns with your decision. It's not magic, it's law, and the law doesn't fail. Everything is energy, vibrating, emitting a frequency. This isn't opinion, it's science. Quantum physics proves that matter is essentially energy condensed into specific patterns. You, with your thoughts, emotions, and intentions, are emitting a vibration right now. The question is that vibration aligned with what you want or what you fear? People believe they attract what they want, but that's not entirely true. You attract what you're in harmony with, what matches your frequency. You can desire wealth, but if you vibrate scarcity, guilt, or fear, you'll continue experiencing exactly that. This is why so many feel trapped, like the universe is deaf. But it's not deaf. It's obeying your actual frequency, not the fantasy you entertain for a few minutes a day. Once, speaking to young people, someone asked about the law of attraction. My response? Forget the law of attraction for a moment. Before attracting anything, ask, how am I feeling right now? The silence was telling. No one expected that question, but it's the key, because your feeling is the most accurate thermometer of your vibration. If you wake up anxious, worried, resentful, or apathetic, you're operating at a low frequency. At that frequency, you lack creative ideas, don't attract the right people, miss opportunities, and enter survival mode. The universe simply returns more of the same. Notice how when you're irritated, everything seems to go wrong. Traffic jams, cancelled clients, computer crashes, people avoiding you. It's not bad luck. It's vibrational coherence. The reverse is also true. When you're light, inspired, hopeful, everything flows. You're lucky, make sound decisions, meet amazing people because you're in tune with life's best. And changing this vibration doesn't require complexity. A single thought suffices. An act of genuine gratitude, a comforting memory, uplifting music. The point is, you can alter your vibration at any moment, but you need to develop the most neglected skill of modern times: awareness of your feelings. How often do you stop and ask, how am I feeling right now? Rarely, if ever. We live anesthetized, reacting to the world as a consequence of circumstances. But that's a lie. We are the cause, the source, the emitters of energy that shapes reality. The world doesn't happen to you, it responds to you. I remember a time when I felt awful without understanding why. I blamed lack of money, a difficult past, lack of education. But one day I realized I wasn't a victim. I was trapped in a low vibration by unknowingly feeding negative thoughts. By changing the vibration even before the circumstances, everything started moving differently. There's a direct relationship between what you feel and what you attract. It's not about forcing positive thinking. That doesn't work. You need to feel the positivity, and that requires training. It's like a muscle. It feels strange at first, but becomes automatic. Over the next 7 days, commit to a simple yet powerful exercise. Every time you feel bad, frustrated, irritated, unmotivated, stop and ask, what am I thinking that's creating this feeling? Then deliberately choose another thought, one that makes you feel a little better. It doesn't have to be euphoric, just a little better. Do this as often as needed. You'll notice something amazing. The better you feel, the more things flow. Money starts appearing, the right people emerge. Unexpected opportunities knock, not through magic, but because you stop resisting the good trying to reach you. Harvard Business School studies show that people with positive emotions at work increase their productivity by up to 31% and problem-solving ability by up to 19%. Feeling good isn't just Pollyanna-ish. It's a smart reality creation strategy. You're not separated from what you desire, only by the vibration you choose to maintain. And I say choosing, because even if it seems automatic, you always have a choice, always, even now. So, start observing. How do you feel when you think about your goal? Enthusiasm and certainty, or anxiety and doubt? That indicates whether you're moving closer or further away. Stop wishing, start vibrating. Life doesn't respond to your requests, but to your frequency, which is entirely under your control. One of modern life's biggest silent tragedies is the number of people living as puppets of the external world. They wake up feeling good, but a rude comment, an unanswered message, bad news, or traffic jams ruin their entire day. They react to everything and everyone as if they had no choice. What they don't realize is that by reacting unconsciously, they surrender their power to another person or situation. You only begin achieving extraordinary goals when you learn to stop reacting and start responding. This difference changes everything. Reactors are slaves to the world. Responders are masters of themselves and masters of their reality. There was a time I didn't know this. When I severed my thumb with a saw, I let my life revolve around what I could no longer do. I thought that defined my future. I quit school, abandoned plans, the vision of something greater. I started jumping from one meaningless job to another. I was in constant reaction, reacting to pain, frustration, lack of direction. It was as if the world had pressed a button and put my life on autopilot. But it was amidst that chaos that a book fell into my hands, Think and Grow Rich. That reading awakened me to something no one had taught me before. I didn't have to react. I could choose my response. I could acknowledge what hurt, accept what I couldn't change, and still act consciously. That perception changed everything, because I realized that events are neutral. What gives them power is the meaning we ascribe to them. An unforeseen event can be the end of the world or a detour. Criticism can be humiliation or a growth opportunity. Loss can be a sentence or a transition. What changes is not what happens, but how you interpret and respond to it. Michael Beckwith taught me something I still use as a mantra. When something happens, tell yourself, "It is what it is. I accept it. I harvest the good, and I forgive the rest." This simple sequence is a key. It disarms the automatic reaction and activates the power of conscious choice. If you're going through something difficult now, harboring past grievances, or feeling blocked by persistent pain, listen carefully. You're not trapped by any of it. You're trapped by the unconscious response you've learned to give, but you can change at any moment, even now. Accepting isn't conforming. It's recognizing reality as it is, to change what's within your reach. By accepting, you stop useless suffering. You stop resisting what's already happened. You remove the emotional burden, and when that burden disappears, your clarity increases. Then comes the second step. Harvesting the good. There's always something, even in the most intense pain. Perhaps you've developed more empathy, strength, or focus. Maybe you've distanced yourself from something bad, even without realizing it. By consciously seeking this learning, what seemed like a loss transforms into progress. Finally, the third step, forgiving the rest. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself from the weight. It means stopping being a prisoner of the past. When you forgive, what was stagnant inside you starts to flow again. For years, I saw incredibly talented people, brilliant ideas, extraordinary abilities trapped by past traumas, resentments, fears created by past experiences. And when they learned to respond, instead of react, everything changed. And it didn't change gradually, it changed quickly, like a dammed river finding space to flow. Responding consciously is taking control of your vibration. It's not letting the world dictate your internal state. It's saying, I choose how I'm going to feel. I choose how I'm going to think. I choose how I'm going to act. That's freedom. That's personal power. That's emotional maturity. Harvard Medical School research shows that people with self-awareness and emotional control are more likely to achieve long-term goals because they maintain focus even in the face of adversity. In other words, those who respond instead of react have more consistency, resilience, and success. So I propose an exercise. Over the next 7 days, consciously practice this sequence whenever something bothers you. Something went wrong, someone offended you, a plan failed. Mentally say, it is what it is. I accept it. I harvest the good and I forgive the rest. Do this as a ritual. It may seem very simple, but that simplicity hides a profound transformation. You don't control what happens in the world, but you have total control over how you choose to respond, and that choice shapes who you become and what you achieve. Because every time you choose your response, you strengthen your identity, affirm your vibration, and become someone the world begins to respect, even energetically. And when that happens, achieving goals ceases to be effort and becomes a consequence. Because you stopped being a hostage of the world and started being its co-creator. You were programmed. From birth and even before, you received beliefs, ideas, and patterns that you didn't consciously choose. Most people spend their lives trying to change results without realizing that the root of everything lies in an invisible place, the mental paradigm they carry within themselves. How you see the world, what you believe is possible or impossible, how much you think you deserve, what you think about money, relationships, success, spirituality. All of this was built into you in your early years. And the most impressive thing is that most of this content was absorbed without filtering, without criticism, without choice, like a sponge. As a child, I didn't have the educational or developmental background you might expect from someone who would later write books, speak around the world, and help millions. I grew up in an environment where scarcity was the dominant language. The idea was, if you get any kind of job, it's already a victory. I heard phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, people like us don't get lucky, only the rich get richer. And that became ingrained in me. I didn't know what a paradigm was, but I was trapped in one. It was only later, when I began to deeply study the workings of the mind, that I discovered that the self-image I carried, and that was shaping my life, wasn't mine. It had been installed in me, and more importantly, it could be modified. People mistakenly think they're in control of their lives. They're not. They're in control of what their paradigm allows. You can know everything about finance, business, spirituality, health, but if your paradigm is one of scarcity, insecurity, unworthiness, or failure, you'll always find a way to sabotage your progress. It's like someone driving with the parking brake on. They may have the most powerful car, the best fuel, the best road, but they don't move. And worse, sometimes they don't even realize the brake is on. They just feel the tiredness, the frustration, and the feeling that something is wrong. Now stop for a moment and think. How many times have you wanted to change your life, started enthusiastically, but ended up back in the same place weeks later? How many times have you promised to get out of debt, take care of your body, invest in yourself, take that course, pursue that opportunity, and simply stopped halfway? This isn't a lack of will. It's not laziness. It's the paradigm at work. It's the invisible program pulling you back to your comfort zone. The reason 7 days can transform your life has nothing to do with magic and everything to do with this mental reconditioning, because when you start observing your thoughts, challenging your beliefs, and inserting new images into your subconscious, you begin to create a new paradigm. And then the brake starts to release. The subconscious doesn't differentiate between truth and imagination. It accepts everything that's repeated with emotion. That's why you may have heard hundreds of times that you're not capable. And today, even as an adult, experienced and intelligent, you still feel small in the face of some goals. You absorbed the lie as truth, and your subconscious transformed it into reality. But the good news is, this can be rewritten, and the key is conscious repetition, charged with emotion. When you write your goal clearly, visualize it with feeling, speak with conviction, act as if you're already living it, you begin to implant a new idea in your subconscious, and that idea over time transforms into new behavior. Unlocking your potential. It's not about luck, it's about ownership. We've all seen it. Someone who's been battling a fragmented self-image suddenly shifts gears. They discover they can rewrite their own story, their own perception of reality. And when that happens, their world transforms. It's not magic. It's about reframing the underlying beliefs that dictate your experience. You don't attract what you want, you attract who you are, and who you are is shaped by your core beliefs. This isn't just about positive thinking. It's about a fundamental shift in your internal operating system. Forget the 7-day challenge. That's too limiting. Instead, I challenge you to a radical act of self-awareness. Start listening to your inner voice. What are you constantly telling yourself about money, time, your abilities, and your worth? Are you subtly sabotaging yourself with phrases like, "I can't," "I'm not good enough," or "I don't have time"? Those are anchors, holding you back from the life you crave. Replace those limiting beliefs with empowering affirmations. Instead of, "This is too hard," say, "I'm learning and growing." Instead of, "I'm just this way," say, "I choose to be different." This isn't about pretending. It's about consciously choosing your thoughts, gently steering your inner narrative toward possibility. It's about taking the reins of your own life. The truth is, transformative change isn't a slow burn. It's a sudden ignition. It happens the moment you decide to become someone new, someone bolder, someone who refuses to accept limitations. You might have carried past traumas, financial burdens, or insecurities for years, but those things don't have to define you. They can start to crumble the moment you choose to take full responsibility. This isn't about blame. It's about owning your narrative. Look in the mirror honestly and say, "My life today is a reflection of what I've chosen, believed, and allowed." Your ego might push back. It might whisper tales of past hurts and injustices. But this isn't about what happened to you. It's about what you'll do about it now. I've been there. I've played the victim card. But that changed when I stopped blaming external forces and took ownership of my choices, my thoughts, my beliefs. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's liberation. When you blame others, you're trapped. When you own your life, you unlock its potential. Responsibility isn't guilt, it's empowerment. Guilt paralyzes, responsibility propels. Guilt stares at the past, responsibility gazes at the horizon. Shift your questions. Stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this? How can I use this to grow?" That's the turning point. Oprah Winfrey faced unimaginable hardships, yet she chose to own her narrative. She became a force of nature. Others, however, remained trapped in cycles of blame, spinning their wheels in a constant emotional roller coaster. As long as responsibility lies elsewhere, so does the solution. Break free. For 7 days, resist the urge to justify. When things go wrong, ask yourself, what could I have done differently? How can I learn from this? This is more powerful than any self-help book. It transforms you from a victim to a creator. It won't magically erase obstacles, but it gives you the power to navigate them. Research shows that people who take ownership of their lives experience greater success, well-being, and self-esteem. They don't wait for rescue. They rescue themselves. You don't need to change the world. You need to change yourself. Stop being a passenger in your own life. Become the driver. It all starts with taking ownership. You don't need a new life. You need a new perspective, and it's waiting for you. Right now. The next step is just a click away.